and you want to push him, you want to force him to go and study science so that he will be a medical doctor because your nephew or your niece is a medical doctor, that child is going to fail. Retires and die. He has not graduated from, you see. All these Yahoo boys, all these ritual boys. I want to say that one of the causes of this, of why they are moving into that, is high expectations.
Don't know what to do at that point in time. So look up to God. He will show you the way. And he will remind you that, he will assure you that your time is coming. So do your best and leave the rest for God.
Okay. Let me begin with a question that may appear simple, but the answer to the question may change your entire life. Why am I here? Not why am I in this city, not why am I in this family, not why am I doing the business or the career that I'm doing, but why did God create me? Why did God bring me to this earth? What is my purpose of being in this earth? Imagine you get everything that man may think that you may achieve. Then finally, you come to discover that you were not living your life according to the purpose of God. This is why we are here in today's podcast. Welcome to the Purpose podcast. I'm glad to welcome you. I'm your host, Atauyo Efiok. And joining me in this podcast are great servants of God who have used their years, have dedicated their years into serving God, bringing people out of the kingdom of darkness. The first person we have here is Minister Emmanuel Essien. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you. You are welcome to this podcast.
We also have with us Minister Utebe Iba.
I'm glad to welcome all of you, our viewers, to this platform. Listen to us and get edified.
All right, listeners, we are about taking a drive into a very important topic that will leave you informed at the end of the day. You are not just going to be informed, but it's going to change your narrative, your thinking about so many things. And at the end of the day, I assure you, you will learn something from it. Now, we'll be having a couple of questions in which, thank God, we have credible servants of God that will be helping in answering these questions that we have today. I will give the first question to Minister Essien. Sir, what does purpose mean from the biblical perspective? What's the meaning of purpose?
All right, thank you so much for throwing that beautiful and important question to me and to all of us. What is my purpose here on earth? And you are asking that I discuss it from the biblical point of view. I want to say from the biblical point of view that purpose will refer to God's intentional design for creating man. I would say God had a master plan. Before he even created man into the world, he has a plan for man to fulfill that purpose that he made. And I want to quickly support that my answer with the story that is recorded in Luke chapter 13. If you read from verse 6, 7, 8, and 9, it talks about Jesus Christ getting annoyed with a fig tree that was planted in the garden. Yes. And when he went to that tree to look for fruit, he did not find anything. He was aggrieved, he was annoyed because that tree was planted for a purpose.
Yes.
And the purpose was for it to be fruit.
To be a fruit.
And when the planter, the one that owned the vineyard, went to get some fruit, nothing. So at some point, he said, you are just standing here wasting this soil. I'm going to order that you will be chopped down. So that particular parable gives us a clearer understanding of our purpose, why God created here or us and kept us here in this world.
That's wonderful. It means Wow. Jesus actually wanted to cut down the tree because it was not fulfilling the purpose that it was meant for. Thank you very much, sir. Minister Otebe, now, from what we have, the definition we have gotten on the purpose, about purpose. Now, I want to ask, does everyone have a purpose?
Definitely. Yes. Everyone was created with a purpose. Everyone has God's given purpose. In fact, before I will attempt that question, let me say something additional to what my brother has just said. That is in responding to the first question,
on purpose.
What purpose actually means.
Okay.
And when you asked him, you said the answer should be Bible-based, because you said from the biblical perspective.
Yeah.
So I want to add, because he has both answered it biblically and has also dug out a very beautiful scenario from the Bible that in relation to the fig tree,
yes,
to buttress, to substantiate that point. So I want to, as he was speaking, I opened to Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10. That says, let me read. For we are God's handiwork, that's God's creature, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. So even before our creation, God had already designed a purpose for which our existence, when we eventually come to earth, will
manifest,
see to the fulfillment, right? So, and what is that? Summarily, a good work. In as much as we are created by God, and we were created in the image of God, and then the God's given purpose is for us to come and do good works. So that, I've answered that question. The God's given purpose is for us to come, yes, to the world, and any geographical location we will find ourselves, any environment that we will find ourselves, we ensure that we do good works. We do good works. That is God's given purpose. So that's it.
Okay, that's wonderful. That means everyone has a God-given purpose.
Yeah, in fact, additionally, God created us in a unique way. Huh?
Okay.
Brother, I tell you, open your palm. My brother, open. You see something, a mark that looks somewhat like M.
Yeah.
If you look at your own vis-a-vis my own and that of Mr. Essien, they are differently designed. That is a pictorial description of the fact that God created each of us in a unique way and sent us with unique purpose to come and fulfill them on earth. The purpose will serve two goals. Number one is service to the God. The other is service to humanity. So we are coming to earth to do good works by serving humanity and serving divinity. That is serving God. That's the summary of God's given purpose on earth.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now that brings me to the next question. Minister Essien, this question will go to you. Now, what's the relationship? What's the relationship between purpose, career, talent, calling, ambition? What's the relationship between them?
All right, thank you so much. Yes, definitely, those words are related. There is no how you will talk about purpose, you will not talk about talents, you will not talk about career. They are related. Like we said, purpose is the reason why you are here. The reason why you are created, the reason behind your existence is purpose. Like Brother Tiba have said, which I also had said earlier on. Now, when you talk about calling is a strong urge in you, a strong pull that pushes you towards doing something, a deep conviction. Sometimes people believe that calling is influenced by some super being that is higher than us. That's why a lot of times you hear people say, I have a calling. I have a calling. I have been called by God. I've been called by God. Sometimes I used to say, how did God call you? Did he call you by name? Or while you were sleeping, did he use your phone number to call you? I know they are saying that from the standpoint of a human position. But when you talk about calling, calling is a deep pull, a conviction, like a voice inside you telling you, go for it, do it. That is what calling is. I'm trying to give the differences. Now, when you talk about career we know is just a job part. It's a job that you decide to do, that you pick some salary from. That is career. At some point, the job might change because you are growing. You know, as we grow on the job at different levels, it might change. And at some point, you will retire. And when you retire, you are gone. You are no more there to do that job. And also, when you are talking about talents are natural gift from God. Every human being that is created has been endowed with this natural gift. And these gifts are different. And that's why even in the Bible, we use our structure, our body. For example, our fingers. You check out our fingers, all of them are not the same. I have my own God-given natural talent. Brother Otibe has his own. You have your own. So others. So when you understand that the talent is a natural gift, there are some people who are from their youthful age, these talents start to manifest in them. So even sometimes you don't even see them going to school to study, maybe motor mechanic repairing. But from nowhere, they become the best motor engineers. So that is what we mean by talent. Then the other one we are talking about is ambition. Ambition is the desire to move ahead, the desire to succeed. Okay. Okay. Okay, ambition. We take ambition. Okay. You were saying another one. Okay. It's ambition that is also related to purpose and talents and career. These are all words that are interrelated due to the subject we are discussing. You see, like I said, ambition is the desire for you to succeed, the desire for you to move ahead. Okay. And that desire is in every human being. It's there. That is what ambition is. Okay. So that when you see the need of succeeding, there is something that pushes you naturally to say, go this way, go this way, go this way, go this way, because you want to succeed. Yes.
Thank you very much, Minister Utibe. Now, God created everyone. He endowed everyone with a purpose. In fact, before creating a person, there is a purpose that one must come to manifest, must come to fulfill. Now, the question is, how do we discover this God-given purpose?
Oh, well, a very, very thoughtful question. And Bible provides everything to that question. Okay. Well, let me start by sharing my observation. If you meet with mothers and midwives, they will tell you that there is no one that is born of a woman, no one that comes to this world, spreading the fingers. What I'm trying to say, at the point of any man's cradle, I'm coming. At the point of birth, there is no baby at the point of birth that will spread the fingers.
Once a baby is born, the hand is folded.
No, at the point of birth, the hands will be folded like this. If you ask your mother, you ask.
I'll visit.
Do you know what that symbolizes? In fact, if it would happen that any baby will spread the fingers, such a baby will kill the mother. So they will fold their arms like this. What that symbolizes, what that signifies, is the fact that no one comes to this world, no one is created, no one is born without a given talent, a given potential, a given purpose.
That you
Yes.
overcome.
Even though at the point of birth, the baby will spread the arms. So, what that also signifies is the fact that you are there in the world. That is you. So, do something with the God-given talent with which you were born, and then create the uniqueness. So, answering your question, how can somebody discover
Yes.
the purpose for which he was sent to this world? It's simple. Number one, in as much as none of us brought ourselves to this world, we should know that we were made and we have a maker. So we must acknowledge him. We must know God. When we know God, we establish a relationship with him. How is that possible? As we don't see him physically, we acknowledge God, we know God, and establish a relationship with him by reading the scriptures. So number one, know God. Number two, read the scriptures. Number three, pray. As James would say in James chapter 1 verse 5, anybody who lacks wisdom should pray. And when you pray, there will be that manifestation. There will be that direction by God. God will remind you of your uniqueness. God will remind you of the purpose for which he brought you to the world. God will remind you of what you need to do. That is when you will be able to look at yourself again. And it takes us to the fourth thing we have to do. And that is to acknowledge your potentials that Sir has taken time to explain. Your talents, your innate abilities. Once you are able to acknowledge it, okay, and then you develop it. When you develop it, put it to service. That connects to the first question you asked me. When you acknowledge your innate abilities, your potentials, your talents, you put them to use. In fact, that should direct your career that you ask him. That should drive your aspiration, your ambition. You know, when your abilities are unconnected to your desires, you might miss your destinies. So you need to relate your abilities to your desires, that's your ambition, and then you'll be able to fulfill your mission on earth, God's given purpose on earth, service to God and humanity. That's how I answered those questions. So, number one, know God. And then understand your relationship with him. That is possible through your searching the scripture, studying the word of God. When you do that, pray for direction. When you pray, you know, God will reconnect you, bring your mind back to your innate ability that defines your unique nature from another person. And then you connect that to your ambition, that is putting it to service. Work, that is serve. We were brought to this earth to serve. And our service will benefit two angles, humanity and God. That's it.
Okay. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Minister Shem, now, does our talents, we have talents and passions, like myself. I sometimes like to play ball. Even though I don't go to play ball, so it's getting me confused. Could I be the next Ronaldo or what? So now I want to find out now. Does our passion, our talents, does it have anything? Does it help us in discovering our purpose? Does it have any correlation? Is there any relationship between them?
Okay. Before I delve into that question, let me add a little bit to what my brother Otube said when he was answering, getting to know how to discover your talents.
Yes.
He has said a lot, but one thing I want to add and encourage people to understand is try to recognize your strength and weaknesses. When you are discovering your talents, try to recognize your strength. And also know the most important things in your life, what you want to get. So there are times people don't realize that they have to understand what they want. Those things that are very valuable, most important, they're just like floating. You see, that is why the point he made about going to God, knowing God, study is what is very, very important. There are people who are on this earth who do not know why they are here because they have neglected God. That's a very important point. And one other thing I want to add to that before I move to answering your question is always have the spirit to volunteer. Volunteer to assist. Volunteer to, even when you are not called, you know the meaning of volunteer? Having the desire to do it. It will help you understand and recognize your purpose. That's why I just wanted to chip in addition to what my colleague has said. So going to your question, I would say yes. I would say emphatically yes, that your passion, your desire can help you discover your purpose. So I want you to note this. Purpose lives where talent meet desire. Purpose lives where talent meet desire. You understand?
Yes.
If you look into what I have said, you have a purpose, there is a connection there.
Yes. Yes.
The purpose is going to exist where there is talent. And that talent and passion, they want to meet where the desire is. At that point, they are joined together. They are going to produce something. There is nobody that has a talent, that has a passion, that does not have a purpose and the desire to back it up. So definitely, yes, your passion, your desire can help you fish out, find out what your purpose is, because all those things, they work together.
Okay. There are times, even students, while growing up, we notice in students when they are about choosing a subject, either to go into science or to go into arts. There are points that a student might be good both in science and also in arts. Sometimes you are confused. At the end of the day, you come to discover you go to do what you shouldn't have done. Now, also as we grow up, even when we are having choices, we may be having what could be giving you money and the one you would love to do. Maybe it may not even give you the money, or when you have the passion, the money may not be there, and the other one is giving. So when you are confused, in where we are having conflicting interests or where one is confused, what should we do when you are confused about discovering your purpose? We are seeing some things that are differences in the design. How do you discover? Okay, what should you do? Let me put it like that. What should you do when you are confused?
You are bringing up very relevant questions. Practical questions, because sometimes even before we come to the level of understanding that we have found ourselves now, we were in that boat. And we also, because we deal with human beings more than any other thing, find some people that are in the situation related to what you have just asked. Sometimes people view their state of confusion as the same thing as God abandoning them. You detect this from their words of lamentation. Because sometimes they take it as if God hates them. But it is not so. Because as our very regular parlance would go, there is no condition that is permanent. This life is not on a plain terrain. Is a little up, a little down. So once you are able to know who you are in terms of your uniqueness, your potentials, your relationship with God, the purpose for which you were brought to this earth, and the destination you are heading to, what seemingly looks like a confusion would not be taken as a confusion. Biblically based and spiritual facilities that you can use to surmount such confusion. Reducing it to simple biblical terms, what should you do? Get closer to God. You can do nothing without God. You cannot succeed without God. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, says this clearly in John chapter 15, verse 5c. The last part of John 15, verse 5 says, without me, you can do nothing. So when you are at a point of confusion, it could be a kind of a dilemma, and because you mentioned a choice here, you don't know which way to go to. There is God that will always direct you. In fact, as you were asking that question, I tapped at a Bible portion that I will read and share with our viewers. and from the point of view of one of the psalmists. But before I will read that passage, we should know that there is a golden time awaiting each of us. There is appointed time for each of us. In fact, I usually use this scenario. If you look at the word there and the word here, H-E-R-E, the word there, T-H-E-R-E, the only difference between the two words is letter T. And that letter T signifies time. Even if you find yourself in a point of confusion and you think, as your question has it, you think that you are behind your contemporaries and you want to kill yourself. Sometimes people will opt for committing suicide or, taking shortcuts that are not in line with the will of God. You shouldn't do so. Just get closer to God through prayers, through special devotion, and He will guide you and He will remind you of His assurances, of His promises for you. But let me read that passage. Psalms 32 verse 8. Okay. Psalms 32 verse 8. It reads, I will instruct you. This is God speaking through the psalmist. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. See, that's a clear indication that God's eyes are on us, even at the point of confusion. So if you want to do it yourself, you can fail. Because confusion is dangerous, that can lead anybody to failure if you don't know what to do at that point in time. So look up to God. He will show you the way. And He will remind you that He will assure you that your time is coming. So do your best and leave the rest for God.
Okay. Thank you very much. Minister Sen, let me quickly ask this. Because you see, in life, because I'm coming to understand something, and I believe our viewers are also learning. Now, there are times we have different, we are faced with different challenges, different experiences. We may have failures, encounter failures in the things you set out to do. Even is what you have passion for, where your purpose is. You try to do something, you fail, you don't succeed. And then you'll be having all these negative experiences when others are passing, where others are succeeding. You also try, you are failing. So I would like to ask, now, is failure and all these negative experiences, all these bad experiences, are they also part of God's plan for us?
Thank you. That is an interesting question, my brother. I want to say that if everyone here on earth were to succeed at first attempt, there will be no room for improvement. Life would not even be interesting. Yes, I know so many people don't want to hear the word failure. They think that failure is bad. Inherently, failure is not bad. There's nothing wrong with failure. There's nothing wrong with challenges. There's nothing wrong with frustrations. Frustrations, failures, mistakes, even mistakes, they will help you. They will clear the path for you to even succeed the more in the future.
I'm learning.
Because when you are definitely sure of what you want to do, you feel you want to succeed. Even when you fail at that first or second attempt, you will get back into it because you have destined for you to achieve what you take. For example, a baby that wants to walk. The baby sees other children walking and running, doing all of this. That baby also wants to walk and run like others. And what happens with the baby? He starts getting up to move the first step, he stumbles and falls. You will see that baby will try to get up because he knows that he has to learn how to walk like others. You see? So it's only a baby that does not want to walk, that does not want to grow, will fall and will lie flat on the ground and will be crying, looking for somebody. You see, sometimes even the parents or the sibling will say, get up, stop crying there. That tells you that in life, these things will come. I also know that there are great men in the history of the world, great inventors who started working on projects and they did not succeed. Even the first time, the second time, the third time, a lot of them.
Yes.
If you go into the history of science and invention, you will discover that most inventors, they did not succeed at that first trial.
Even in many trials.
Yes, they did the many trials and finally they succeeded. And today we have aeroplanes flying in the sky.
Electricity.
We have electricity. I mean, we have all these things we're enjoying because they knew, they understood that if they fail, they can retry. So there is nothing wrong with failure. It clears your path for greater success. God even appreciates when we are down, when we make mistakes and try to get up. He gives us a helping hand. You see, Luke chapter 15, we talk about the prodigal son.
Okay.
One of the greatest mistakes he made in his life was for him to think, Daddy, give me what belongs to me. I am a big boy. I can take care of my own property. Give it to me. He made that mistake even to ask and to get, even when the father was still alive.
Yes.
The senior brother did not ask. He collected all this wealth that was given to him and took it to a far country. Did he invest it? No, he did not. He squandered it. He squandered it. And what happened? That led him to becoming a partner, patching his life with swines, pigs, eating what they were eating, until he realized. Do you see him getting to himself? He said, what am I doing? What am I doing? Even in my father's house, the hired servants are living better than me. I will arise and go back to my father and say, Father, I have offended heaven and on earth. Please forgive me. Don't even take me as your son anymore. Take me as one of your hired servants. Do you see that picture of that parable?
Yes.
If you go into the interpretation, you will discover that God is always ready with open arms to receive us. When we make these mistakes, we realize, going back to what my brother was saying, realizing that God is there, the one that can give you the right direction. You go back to him. He is ready to accept you, to refurnish you, refresh you, and put you back, and you succeed. So there are many other examples in life. Personally and individually, people can tell you how they have made mistake in one area or the other. But looking back, they went and redressed that mistake, and they are successful people today in their different businesses and in different careers. So failures and mistakes and frustration, they are not bad. They are only challenges to keep our heads up, face the future, and try to succeed in what you wanted to do.
Okay. Now, thank you very much, sir. Talking about fulfilling this purpose and becoming successful, I want to understand something. I want you to clear this picture for me, Minister Untobe. Because most times, some persons can be successful, they don't know God and things like that. Because I'm trying to know now, can someone be successful outside God? Want to be successful outside God? Can someone be successful?
Wow. Your questions, as I said earlier on, are very thought-provoking. But even before I get there, let me add something to what Minister has said in answering the last question. And let me quote a scripture. In Acts of the Apostle, chapter 14, verse 22, we are told, Acts of the Apostle 14:22, we are told that we are going to pass through many tribulations before we get to heaven, if I should paraphrase. That's, we will be facing many challenges, different forms before we get to heaven in life journey. So nobody should expect that plain terrain, as I mentioned earlier on. You'll be faced with problems. The problems, he has rightly said, the problem you face is not the actual problem, but what do you do when you face the problem? Now let me connect a very prominent character in the Bible, Joseph, the penultimate son of Jacob. Once I mentioned that name, the story is in our memory. I summarize his life, from childhood to adulthood with 3 P's. 3 P's. The first P symbolizing pit. And you know what that means. He was thrown by his siblings to a pit to die.
Okay.
And from there he was removed, sold to Ishmaelite, who in turn sold him to the Egyptian. And right there, in Egypt, the second P summarizes his experience in Egypt. That P is prison.
Okay.
And you see, all these are challenges. And now from prison, everybody that is well versed with the story of Joseph will understand what I'm saying. And now the third P is prime minister. That is when you will see success. Prime minister is equal to the success is in his life. Yeah? At that point, everybody bowed down to him, worship him, which fulfilled his childhood dream. So before he could get there, he had passed through so many challenges. So a child that will not have a certificate is a child that will hate rainfall while he's going to school, beatings, and everything, even false accusation in the classroom.
That's true.
But when you welcome these things and move ahead to where you are heading to, you get to a point of success. Now let me get to my question. Whether somebody can be successful outside God's given purpose, right? Or let me say yes, it's possible. Do you know why I'm saying yes? Nobody would deny the fact that that very wise man, Solomon, was not successful. He was successful in terms of popularity, in terms of wealth, in terms of greatness, in terms of power. He was successful. But was that success in line? Was it in line with God's purpose? That's the problem. So one can be successful, but a success of anybody should align with God's purpose. Otherwise, such a success is vanity upon vanity. That is why in Mark chapter 8, verse 36, Jesus is asking a rhetorical question. He says, "What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world?" What does that mean? He is very successful in the material life, in the world, in any environment he finds himself, in any career he pursues, in any undertaking he has made. He is very successful. In as much as that does not align with God's purpose, God's will, it is vanity. So my answer to that question again is yes, somebody can be successful outside God's given purpose. That is outside God's will. Somebody can be successful. But as children of God, we should be able to match our success with God's given purpose for which we were brought to the world. Otherwise, it is vanity.
Okay.
Let me add to that. As you were talking also, my mind quickly went to the rich fool. Remember the rich fool in Luke chapter 12?
Yes, sir.
He was successful. He had the wealth. But it did not match with God's purpose. What happened? That night, the owner of that life said, "Since you did not know what to do with this wealth, come over." And he took him away. So people can be wealthy, can be very successful, but when you take it away from, you don't bring it into God's purpose, that your riches, like my brother is saying, is vanity. And at the end, those things cannot help you. They cannot help you.
Okay. Minister Otobe, still be with the mic. Let me come to you now. How can we overcome? Because most times the problem we have is comparing ourselves with others, and also another problem we have most times is expectations. There are times you want to do something, the expectations maybe from your parents, it might be from peers, it might be from many that looks up to you. Now, how do we overcome comparison, expectations from different angles that may pressure a person when the person is moving in a part of his fulfilling his purpose?
Thank you so much. That's a good question, and it's one of the things that is affecting so many people in our society today. The expectations on them, comparing them with other people, I mean, it causes them not to succeed. It weighs them down. Those who do not know how to handle it. There's nothing wrong with comparison. Comparison can be good depending on how you handle it. I can compare myself to a successful person and say, I want to be successful like that person. I want to achieve or even something more than what the person has achieved. There's nothing wrong with that. It is going to encourage you, ginger you to move ahead. But the thing is, let everyone understand that our talents are different. Going back to talents, talents and potentials are different. That is natural. If you cannot do it the way the other person has done it, please don't kill yourself. Don't think that you are a failure. You are not a failure. You are doing it according to the ability and potential that God has given to you. You see, our parents sometimes make this mistake. They are the ones that will say, my child, you go and study. Always and always, two things will be compared. But let it be in a healthy situation. Don't do it compare on a situation that you want to put down the other person. And if you do it that way, it's also going to affect you and all those who are in your party. Our parents used to force us in the academics to go and do maybe a certain course because his brother's son or daughter is a medical doctor. He said, go and study medicine. Don't you see my brother's daughter is a doctor? I also want my son, you to be a doctor. But you have failed to understand that our potentials are different. Our talents are different. Our IQs, academic abilities are different. That is why in schools, we have counselors in schools. They guide these children depending on what their ability is. If your child was not of the sciences, and you want to push him, you want to force him to go and study science so that he will be a medical doctor because your nephew or your niece is a medical doctor, that child is going to fail. You will end up paying for somebody to write works for him in the secondary school. But when he gets to university, how much and how long are you going to pay for him to pass his courses? So those kind of children end up studying medicine and surgery for 15 years in the university, even until the father retires or dies. He has not graduated from, you see. So something our parents cause this. I mean, handle what you know you can take care of. Don't look down on yourself. Like we said some moments ago, God created us uniquely. We are different. We are not the same. He has given us potentials that He understands it is enough for us to use. Remember going back to the story of the talents? The other one was given 5, the other one given 2, the other one given 1. The one that was given 1 went and buried his own in the ground and said, why did he give me 1 and give the other person 2 or 3? I mean, unnecessary comparison. He could have used that 1 talent and produced another 1. And it will still be credited to him as a successful servant. The one that was given 2 produced another 2. The one that was given 5 produced another 5. Yes. So don't try to compare yourself negatively with some other person. Don't belittle yourself. When you do that, you are belittling your ability. You will make yourself to look inferior. Say, what God has given to me is enough for me to use it and succeed. And I can even succeed more than the other person. And do not allow fear, you mentioned fear also, to bring you down. Don't be afraid. Explore the world that God has given. There are many potentials out there. Sometimes some people are afraid of certain kind of jobs or business, like I'm saying. But when you take that thing away, you say, I can succeed. I can do it. Getting your inspiration from God. Like in Philippians chapter 4, I think verses 12 to 13, or particularly 13, Paul says, I can do all things through Christ that gives me the strength. So please don't allow fear to weigh you down. And do not also allow people's expectation to weigh you down. If you allow the society's expectation to weigh you, you will not succeed. I know there are too much expectation on people.
Yes.
And that is why some of us, we don't grow. Caused by our friends, by our family members, they expect too much. They put all of their hopes in one person. And that person at the end will not be able to succeed. You know, some of our brothers and sisters are hiding in Lagos. Some are hiding in Abuja. For many years, they travel to Abuja and Lagos. They cannot come home. Why? Because of too much expectation that has been put in them. And they allow these people expectation to affect them. You are in Lagos sleeping under the bridge. You are in Abuja sleeping in the gutter. You don't have a good job to do and you are afraid to come home because so much expectation has been put and you will die there and someday we hear that they are dead, we go and bring their cup. No. Don't allow somebody to push you into a corner that you cannot get out. Do what you know you can do and be satisfied with that. Be able to tell yourself, I can do this. This is what I can do. And please, this is advice we want to give to every other person.
Okay.
Allow somebody to be his or her own self. Don't put too much on that person. Even when you know that person cannot handle it. Don't like using derogatory statements and phrases on your child or your fellow brothers and sisters or your fellow human being. Your mates are doing this. Okay. You are not doing this. You cannot do this. No. There is how you can call that person. You sit down with him and advise that person. You can do it. Why not try? Take away fear. You can succeed just like the other person is succeeding. There's nothing wrong with that. And when you know that that person have not succeeded, please don't nail him to the cross. Let me use that phrase. Give him another opportunity. I watched a short video, not very long, in the social media. A guy had stayed in US for many years and he came back. The day he arrived, he was on tattered dress. He wouldn't appear like somebody coming from the US. And he met the father and the mother. The mother went and hugged him. But the father said, who is this? Who is this? Who is this idiot? Who is this madman? Who are you? You went and spent 15 years in the US and coming back with tattered dress the way you appear, thinking that I should come and hug you, I should come and welcome you. You are not my son. You are a disgrace. You have disgraced. He started comparing. My brother's son was in US. He came back and built this upstairs and all of that. He did not know that that young man changed his appearance, disguised himself and just wanted to come and try and see what their reaction would be. That he had packed a new Jeep over there with the key in his pocket to give to whosoever among the parents that will accept him and welcome him the way it is. So when the father was raining all this abusive word on him, the mother was drawing him to himself. He said, my son, don't worry. If you couldn't make it over there, you can make it here in Nigeria. Thank God you are even come back alive. And at the end, the son brought out the key of a brand new car from the pocket with packs of money. He said, mommy, this is for you. And the father jumped. He went to go and grab it. He said, no, you should give me the father first. He said, daddy, I'm not giving you. By the way, you said I'm no more your son. You have disowned me because of seeing me the way I am. But I wanted to tell you that I have achieved something, that God did not leave me. God didn't disown me. I mean, stories like this can teach great lessons to us.
Yes.
Definitely, there's nothing wrong with expectation. But don't put pressure so much on somebody that you will force him to even go beyond what is supposed. You see all these Yahoo boys, all these ritual boys. I want to say that one of the causes of this, of why they are moving to that, is high expectation. Impatience. What their parents and others have been saying. And they say, oh, let me go and do it as they have been doing. And it has resulted them in a very bad situation. Some of them have died. Some of them are in prison. They cannot even enjoy whatever world they create, and they don't have good names in the society.
Yes, that's true. So you have really said a lot. It's almost summarizing everything that we had today in this podcast. Now, of the truth, expectations have bring so many ill in the society. It makes the people uncomfortable. It makes the people go into doing what they're supposed not to do, literally not supposed to do, because of high expectation. And it's also an advice to parents, the viewers, and everyone out there. Person, just as you have said, many are in Abuja also. They can't come back home. You see on social media also. Minister Utobe, let me ask you this question. Now, we are seeing people that are confused. There are people that, as we are talking now, they are very much confused. They think maybe God have abandoned them. Now, we say from our discussion, we agreed that God has a purpose for everyone. Now, while creating them, He created them with a purpose that they are supposed to, that they will come to manifest. You even give illustration of the palm, where a child will be given birth to, that he carried an inherent this thing, yes, that comes with the child. So, what about those? What advice would you give to those people that feel that maybe God has forsaken them? God didn't give them anything, because I come across so many people. Look, my own thing is always like this. God don't like me. God don't favor me. This happens. So, what advice would you give to those set of people that thinks or believes that they have no purpose here on earth?
His last explanations have taken care of this question to some extent. The fact that somebody who maybe he has failed to discover his God-given purpose does not tantamount to the fact that he was brought to this world purposeless. That is, God did not give him a purpose. As we have already established this, don't use the challenges you have, the level that you have found yourself vis-a-vis your contemporaries. Maybe you have not met with your goals. Maybe you have not got to where you wish yourself, and you think that that is your destiny. That is where your life will end. No, that is not where it will end. Forge ahead. Be focused. Don't get distracted. Don't unnecessarily compare yourself. You cannot be exactly as another person. Even in terms of marriage, in terms of career, in terms of achievement, you cannot be exactly as another person. God created us in unique ways. Be yourself. But that doesn't stop you from learning from another. It doesn't stop you from getting inspired by another person's prowess. It doesn't mean you should not get motivated by the achievement of another person. But do not think that you will be exactly the same as another person, please. Because that will push you to a lot of problems. And that will generate a lot of confusion. So please, in summary, I'm saying that if you are here to discover your purpose for which you were sent to this world, that does not mean that you are purposeless. God created you with a purpose. He intentionally created you. He wonderfully created you to come and fulfill a certain purpose on earth, and that will gear towards glorifying Him and serving humanity. It is until you are able to fulfill this, you are yet to fulfill God's given purpose to you. So that's it.
Let me add one or two things there, my brother. Just like you have rightly said, no man was created purposeless. All of us. It is only the human beings who have failed to understand that they have, or God had a purpose in mind for creating them, that will end up becoming useless. But when you understand that just like some other person was created with a purpose, then you will know that you have a purpose here on earth. In fact, sometimes our parents or brothers used to tell somebody using some derogatory phrase, coconut head. Say, coconut head, your head is coconut, only water. Let me tell you that the water in the coconut is medicinal.
It's useful.
Yes, it's useful. You see people lying on the road buying fresh coconut to drink the water because it is medicinal. So even that is said that you see it is coconut head, is only water. That water is even, the water can even help
Very
you.
true.
So everybody, there is a purpose why God created you. It is only for you to discover it and see yourself as important like the other person. I mentioned talk about inferiority complex some moments ago. Don't see yourself, but the moment you start seeing yourself inferior, you have diminished that ability, that potential, that power that God had created and put in you. Exactly. And definitely you cannot succeed. Yes. So say to yourself, I am somebody that was created by God with a purpose, with a value, and God has placed such a great value on me, and that is why he made me in his own image. You see, he has put a great value on me. That is why he gave his only begotten son, Jesus Christ, to come and die on my behalf. If you were not important, if God didn't have a purpose when he created, why would he send his only son to come and die for you? You see, so that is what I wanted to add to the point you have raised, that for God so loved the world there refers to all person he created in his own image, that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believed in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to ask this, since we are almost coming to the end of this podcast now. Minister Otebe, let me ask this now. What practical steps can someone begin to take today in order for the person to pursue purpose? We have been talking about the purpose, how we can discover the purpose, and so. What practical steps can you advise someone to start taking in order to achieve purpose?
I think I have answered that question. I had answered it in advance. In other words, some of my responses had already addressed that. So it would just be a summary. What practical steps should you take to discover the purpose for which you were created? Describe that as a misunderstanding. Is ignorance. They don't know because, as David would say, I think in Psalms 139 verse 14, that it says, I praise you, as he praises God. He says, I praise you because I was wonderfully and fearfully made. So each person was wonderful, created by God, fearfully made. That is made in a unique way with a purpose, whose life will fulfill. So if somebody thinks that he is without a purpose, he doesn't think well. Your question is, what would be my advice to such a person? I would say, get closer to God. There is no one that is having a close relationship with God that will think this way. Irrespective of maybe unfortunate negative challenges that one might face in life. That's not the end of the road, as we have said in various ways, So do not think that, given your present realities, your failures for quite a number of time, the fact that your contemporaries have gone far ahead of you in achievements in various ways, does not mean that God hates you. Does not mean that God did not give you a purpose to fulfill on earth. So rediscover yourself. Get yourself reconnected to God. Draw closer to God. This will be my pieces of advice to such a person. Get closer to God, much closer to God. Through prayers. And then He will open a way for you. He will direct you. And then you will later discover the purpose for which you were made. And the purpose for which you were sent to this world. And do the needful. Do the needful. So that's how I'll approach such a question. Please nobody should use the present realities. Minister Essien has already said this. Don't use the challenges you have, the level that you have found yourself vis-a-vis your contemporaries. Maybe you have not met with your goals. Maybe you have not got to where you wish yourself, and you think that that is your destiny. That is where your life will end. No, that is not where it will end. Forge ahead. Be focused. Don't get distracted. Don't unnecessarily compare yourself. You cannot be exactly as another person. Even in terms of marriage, in terms of career, in terms of achievement, you cannot be exactly as another person. God created us in unique ways. Be yourself. But that doesn't stop you from learning from another. It doesn't stop you from getting inspired by another person's prowess. It doesn't mean you should not get motivated by the achievement of another person. But do not think that you will be exactly the same as another person, please. Because that will push you to a lot of problems. And that will generate a lot of confusion. So please, in summary, I'm saying that if you are here to discover your purpose for which you were sent to this world, that does not mean that you are purposeless. God created you with a purpose. He intentionally created you. He wonderfully created you to come and fulfill a certain purpose on earth. And that will gear towards glorifying Him and serving humanity. It is until you are able to fulfill this, you are yet to fulfill God's given purpose to you. So that's it.
Let me add one or two things there, my brother. Just like you have rightly said, no man was created purposeless. All of us. It is only the human beings who have failed to understand that they have, or God had a purpose in mind for creating them, that will end up becoming useless. But when you understand that just like some other person was created with a purpose, then you will know that you have a purpose here on earth. In fact, sometimes our parents or brothers used to tell somebody using some derogatory phrase, coconut head. Say, coconut head. Your head is coconut, only water, water. Let me tell you that the water in the coconut is medicinal.
It's useful.
Yes, it's useful. You see people lying on the road buying fresh coconut to drink the water because it is medicinal. So even that is said that you see it is coconut head, is only water. That water is even, the water can even help you.
True.
So everybody, there is a purpose why God created you. It is only for you to discover it and see yourself as important like the other person. I mentioned talk about inferiority complex some moments ago. Don't see yourself, but the moment you start seeing yourself inferior, you have diminished that ability, that potential, that power that God had created and put in you.
Exactly.
And definitely you cannot succeed. So say to yourself, I am somebody that was created by God with a purpose, with a value, and God has placed such a great value on me, and that is why He made me in His own image. You see, He has put a great value on me. That is why He gave His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, to come and die on my behalf. If you were not important, if God didn't have a purpose when He created, why would He send His only Son to come and die for you? You see? So that is what I wanted to add to the point you have raised, that for God so loved the world. The world, it refers to all person He created in His own image, that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in Him should not perish but have everlasting life.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to ask this, since we are almost coming to the end of this podcast now. Minister Otebe, let me ask this now. What practical steps can someone begin to take today in order for the person to pursue purpose? We have been talking about the purpose, how we can discover the purpose, and so. What practical steps can you advise someone to start taking in order to achieve purpose?
I think I have answered that question. I had answered it in advance. In other words, some of my responses had already addressed that. So it would just be a summary. What practical steps should you take to discover the purpose for which you were created and brought to this world? If you don't have a special relationship with God, you will not know that. So establish practically a relationship with God, and let that relationship be very close to God. In the book of James, chapter 4, verse 8, the Holy Spirit through James says, draw closer to God, and he in turn will draw closer to you. And Jesus will say, as recorded by John in John chapter 15. In fact, if you like, you read from verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, read to 7. The summary, the highlight of that passage is that you should live in Christ and Christ in you. You can achieve nothing, you can bear no fruit if your life is unconnected to Christ. He describes himself symbolically as the true vine, while those who believe in him, those who have the spiritual relationship with him, are the branches. And he says anybody who does not live in him, who does not believe in him, will be cut off. And any cut off person will dry up and will only be burnt, because that person can bear no fruit. So let Jesus Christ be your spiritual habitat. That's another practical step. Live in Christ. Live in Christ. In the book of Galatians chapter 3 verse 27, we are told through Apostle Paul that any one of us who gets baptized or who got baptized into Christ had put on Christ. So Jesus Christ covers us, and we are in him. And where that happens, we are not only protected by him, we are directed by him, and then we succeed through him. So the practical step we are talking about is discover yourself, relate with God, draw closer to God, believe in Christ, and let that belief that you have in Christ take you to the point of baptism, so that you become a spiritual adopted son of God. And with God, all things are possible. God things are possible. There is no one that moves with God and that will not record, immeasurable achievements, wonderful achievements. So once you discover your purpose, and once you fulfill your purpose, that means you are, divinely successful. You are spiritually successful. Those are basically the Bible-based practical steps anyone can take. Even we, at this other part, we do that, and we continue to do that. That's why our life and our achievements are different, not necessarily material. All right.
Let me add a few more things to that.
Okay.
Thank you, Brother Tebe, for all the points you have raised. They are very cogent points, very important ones. Let me also add here that it is good for one to realize his inner strength and core values. Realize it. When you have a deep reflection of what your core values is, you'll be able to translate them into actionable goals. Sometimes people don't know. They can, who are you and why are you here? They may not even tell. What are you up to? What can you do? I don't do anything, or I don't know what. No. That means you don't even know who you are. You don't know who you are. So you have to know who you are and what you are able to do. And another thing I want to add to that is that know very well how to manage your time. One of the things that have made people to fail today, businessmen to fail today, is time management, poor time management. you sit down and waste your youthful years on nothing until when you start getting into your adult age, it is dawn on you that you have not achieved anything and you start to struggle. Please make good use of your time. Your youthful age is when you start planning. That is the time you start making plan. Put your plans on paper. You have a vision, what you want to achieve and become in the future. Put it down on paper and work towards that. It's going to help you when you start on a good time. You will succeed. And also look at people that have succeeded in the area of business you want to do and make friends with them. Align to them. In our local parlance, they say that a tree that always wants to succeed will stand nearer to a tree that bears cola fruit or cola nut fruit in our local parlance. That means always attach yourself to somebody that you know has succeeded, especially in that area that you are interested in going. And that is why we have words like mentor. You see, somebody who mentor, somebody you look up to, you get yourself aligned to him. So these are the few other practical steps that I wanted to add to what our brother Otube had mentioned.
Quickly, ministers, to summarize the final question I'll be asking you. Now, if someone listening to this podcast now asks, why am I here? What can I do? What should I do to identify my God-given potentials and pursue them? What three things would you advise them to do, to begin doing today? What three things would you advise?
I will advise him, number one, go back to what Brother say, pray to God.
Good.
Make God your friend and his word. Very, very importantly. Number two, be dedicated to his cause. Be somebody who mentor, somebody you look up to, you get yourself aligned to him. So these are the few other practical steps that I wanted to add to what our brother Otube had mentioned.
Quickly, ministers, to summarize the final question I'll be asking you. Now, if someone listening to this podcast now asks, why am I here? What can I do? What should I do to identify my God-given potentials and pursue them? What three things would you advise them to do, to begin doing today? What three things would you advise?
I will advise him, number one, go back to what Brother say, pray to God.
Good.
Make God your friend and his word. Very, very importantly. Number two, be dedicated to his cause. Be dedicated to his cause. And number three will be, have the passion to fulfill the cause of Christ or God in you. When you go to him, you are dedicated and you have the passion to continue, you will discover that your purpose will be there for you. You will know what your purpose is.
Okay.
Yes.
Minister Otube, what three things can you also advise the person to begin doing now?
These questions, I don't know how you generate these questions. So mind-blowing, so thought-provoking. Since you are talking about three, I had been brainstorming when my colleague was submitting his own answers. Let me put it this way to summarize all our thoughts. I would say, know yourself. That's number one. Who am I? Or who are you? Who am I? Know yourself and where you are. That's number one. Number two will be know God. Because you cannot succeed, you cannot do anything in isolation from God. So know God. The moment you know God, you know the purpose for which God created you. So know God. And number three, after realizing yourself or realizing let me personalize it. After realizing myself, and then I know God and relate well with him, the third thing I would practically do, all right, would be serve God and God's people. Serve God and humanity. You see, when God describes love, and of course our responsibilities on earth through Christ, it is in two ways. We have two relationships. Number one, the vertical relationship. The second one, the horizontal relationship. The vertical relationship is man's relationship with God, our creator. The second relationship is man's relationship with a fellow man. So that summarizes how we render our services on earth. After discovering ourselves, recognizing God and his purpose for which we were created, you serve God and serve man. So my answer to that question is number one, realize who you are. Know yourself. Number two, recognize God and his will. Number three, serve God and humanity.
Wow. What a powerful conversation we had today. Now, as we come to the end of this podcast, I want you to remember one thing. You are not here by accident. You were created by God for a purpose.
Definitely.
Now, the question is no longer, why am I here? Rather, what we should now be asking ourselves is, what am I going to do with the God-given talents, gifts that God has blessed in us?
Exactly.
Now, to our guests, Minister Emmanuel Essien and Otu Ibian, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and giving us powerful conversation today.
Thank you. We thank God for the opportunity to share our knowledge and encourage others.
Our esteemed viewers, we love you, we appreciate you. Please leverage upon this opportunity, avail yourself of this opportunity. You can play and replay this video, this podcast, and generate some facts, right? Even if you don't appreciate everything that we say. My brother, my colleague has brought up an analogy that could be synonymous with somebody saying in every nonsense there is a sense. So even if you don't appreciate every point that we have dropped, please filter out the salient ones and use that to build yourself in fulfilling your destiny. Thank you. God bless you.
Good. And to everyone who joined us and listened to this podcast, now don't just listen to it, enjoy it alone. Make sure you act on it. Just as our guest today said, you pray to God, seek the direction from God, and then he will definitely guide you. Now, if this podcast has been a blessing to you, you have enjoyed it, make sure you share the podcast, make it go viral, let it reach your friends, your loved ones, and everyone. Let them also partake of the blessings and the good things that you have learned today on how to discover your God-given purpose. Once everyone discovers their purpose, the world will be a beautiful place. No one will be hurting anybody. Nobody will feel like a failure or anything. Now, you stay put until we come your way again. This is the Purpose Podcast, and I have been your host for today's episode, Atauyo Efiok. Remain blessed until we come your way again, same time next week, Friday. Thank you.